Welcome to a journey of faith, purpose, and transformation. Relationships are one of the greatest gifts from God, but they are also a reflection of His plan for your life. Today, we explore how aligning with God's purpose can strengthen your connections, heal your heart, and guide you toward the relationships you were destined to have. If you are ready to invite divine wisdom into your life and love, let's begin this powerful conversation. Imagine waking up every morning feeling confident, secure, and in charge of your own life. Yet some women seem to struggle with this very notion, always needing others to validate their worth. Seeking approval from others can feel like an endless cycle that keeps you tethered to other people's opinions. But here's the truth. When your self-worth is based on others' validation, you place your happiness in someone else's hands. This dependence not only stunts your growth, but also keeps you trapped in a mindset that says your value is determined by the praise or judgment of others. Imagine how freeing it would feel to wake up and know your worth, independent of anyone else's opinion. Reclaiming your personal power starts with believing in yourself first. It's time to let go of the chains of approval seeking and embrace your own unique value. Trusting your instincts is a powerful tool we all possess, yet many women ignore this inner compass, either because they're afraid or they don't know how to listen. Deep down, we all have that quiet voice that guides us, warning us when something doesn't feel right or leading us towards opportunities we may never have imagined. But when you ignore this internal guidance, you risk making decisions that don't align with your highest self. It's like trying to navigate a storm without a map. Without listening to your gut, you can end up stuck in situations that don't serve you simply because you didn't trust the wisdom already inside you. It's time to tune in and listen carefully to that quiet whisper of intuition. It's guiding you toward the best version of yourself and the life you truly deserve. Choosing relationships that drain your energy or diminish your spirit is one of the most destructive behaviors a woman can engage in. When you settle for someone who doesn't see your worth or consistently brings negativity into your life, you're not just compromising your happiness, you're holding yourself back from the potential that's waiting for you. You are worthy of relationships that empower you, that lift you up and make you feel alive with excitement and joy. But when you continue to choose toxicity, you remain stuck in patterns of emotional pain, constantly questioning your value. The moment you realize that you are deserving of love that nurtures your soul, you unlock the power to create boundaries that protect your peace. Start attracting love that fuels your spirit, not drains it. The power to choose better relationships starts with choosing yourself first. Change can be terrifying. The unknown, the unfamiliar, and the unpredictable can cause anyone to feel anxious. But let's face it, growth only happens when you step outside your comfort zone. Without embracing change, you remain in a space of stagnation, unable to move forward in life. Fear of change often manifests as resistance, holding you back from opportunities that could transform your reality. You may find yourself staying in a job you hate, a relationship that doesn't fulfill you, or a lifestyle that doesn't align with your aspirations simply because it's comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. The universe constantly presents us with new paths, new experiences, and new opportunities for expansion. The only way to experience real transformation is by accepting that change is not only inevitable, but necessary for personal evolution. Embrace it, and watch as new doors open up that lead to the life you've always dreamed of. Taking responsibility for your actions is one of the most powerful ways to regain control over your life. When things go wrong, it's easy to point the finger and blame others, but doing so keeps you trapped in a victim mentality. The truth is that every decision you make shapes your reality. Whether it's choosing to stay in a job you despise or allowing toxic people into your life, the power to change lies within your hands. Taking responsibility means owning your mistakes, learning from them, and making a commitment to do better. It means recognizing that you have the power to choose differently at any moment. The freedom that comes with personal accountability is unparalleled. You can either stay stuck in the cycle of blaming and waiting for things to change, or you can take action and start creating a life that is a reflection of your inner power and choices. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Yet, so many women overlook their own needs, putting everyone else's well-being above their own. Whether it's constantly putting others first or pushing yourself to the limits without taking time to recharge, neglecting your own health and happiness will eventually take a toll. When you disregard self-care, you risk burnout, emotional exhaustion, and feeling disconnected from yourself. Your mind, body, and spirit are interconnected, and without taking time to nurture each of them, you leave yourself vulnerable to stress and unhappiness. Imagine how different your life could be if you took time each day to care for yourself, whether through exercise, meditation, or simply taking a break to breathe. Self-care allows you to show up as the best version of yourself, not just for others, but for you. When you take care of your own needs first, you are better equipped to handle the challenges life throws your way. Don't wait until you're depleted. Prioritize self-care and watch how it transforms your life in every way. Imagine walking through life with an invisible guide, a quiet yet powerful voice inside of you, always ready to direct you toward the best path. But many women ignore this voice, dismissing it as mere instinct or second-guessing it until it fades into silence. This inner voice or intuition is one of your most valuable tools. It is the voice of your soul, the universe, or whatever you wish to call it, guiding you toward the right choices, people, and opportunities. Yet, so many women choose to ignore it, making decisions based on fear, external pressure, or societal expectations. This pattern of ignoring your intuition keeps you stuck in cycles of confusion, regret, and missed opportunities. Have you ever had a gut feeling about a situation, only to ignore it and later wish you had listened? That sinking feeling in your stomach when something isn't right, that's your intuition. It's not something you can logically explain, but it's a powerful internal compass that has been with you since birth. If you consistently ignore it, you're not just ignoring a fleeting feeling, you're ignoring the universe's subtle guidance, the wisdom it is trying to impart to you. The more you dismiss this guidance, the quieter it becomes, leaving you feeling lost or uncertain in your choices. It's time to reignite that inner wisdom, to tune in and recognize the power you have been ignoring all along. There is an incredible power in trusting yourself, but so often we are taught to look outside for answers. From family to friends to society, everyone seems to have an opinion on what you should do, who you should be, and how you should live your life. But while others' advice might be well-meaning, it's your intuition that has the clarity and truth you need to move forward. When you ignore your inner voice, you give away your personal power to others. You let outside influences dictate your actions and decisions instead of honoring what feels right deep within. Each time you ignore your gut feeling, you weaken your connection to your true self. You end up making choices that don't align with your true desires, and as a result, feel disconnected from your purpose. Think about a time when you had an overwhelming feeling about a situation. Perhaps you felt that a new relationship wasn't healthy or a job wasn't right for you, but instead of listening to your intuition, you ignored it and proceeded anyway. How did that work out? Most likely, the result was a lesson in why trusting yourself is essential. Ignoring your intuition can lead to regret, disappointment, or worse, remaining stuck in a situation that drains your energy and prevents you from growing. Your intuition knows what you truly need, and when you fail to listen to it, you rob yourself of the opportunity to create the life you deserve. The truth is, ignoring your intuition can lead to endless confusion. You find yourself questioning everything, second-guessing your choices, and feeling lost in a world full of noise. When you don't trust your inner voice, your mind becomes cluttered with doubt, making it harder to make decisions. The fear of making the wrong choice can paralyze you, causing you to stay stuck or avoid making any decision at all. This constant mental struggle creates a feeling of being out of control, as if you're drifting without a clear direction. On the other hand, when you trust your intuition, decisions become clearer, easier, and aligned with your true self. It's like having a roadmap that always leads you to where you're supposed to be, even if the journey isn't always smooth. Every time you ignore your intuition, you distance yourself from your true desires and needs. Intuition is not just a random feeling, it is a reflection of your deeper knowing, the wisdom you gained from life experiences, and the desires of your soul. Your intuition knows what will bring you happiness, fulfillment, and peace. When you ignore it, you stray from the path that would lead you to those things. It's like trying to navigate through life without a map. The journey becomes uncertain, and you risk missing out on opportunities that would have brought you closer to your dreams. Why do we ignore our intuition? Often it's because of fear. Fear of making the wrong choice. Fear of what others might think. Fear of stepping out of the familiar. But here's the thing. Fear is not your guide. Your intuition is. Fear will often try to tell you what you shouldn't do, while your intuition speaks to you about what you need to do for your growth and happiness. When you choose fear over intuition, you stay trapped in patterns that hold you back. But when you choose to trust your intuition, you choose courage. And with courage comes growth. You step into a new reality, one where you trust yourself and your decisions, knowing that you are capable of navigating through anything that comes your way. Your intuition is always with you, always guiding you. The challenge is learning to trust it, especially when it goes against what you think you should do. Society often encourages us to follow a certain path, go to school, get a job, settle down, follow the crowd. But your intuition may be telling you something different. It may be urging you to explore new opportunities, take risks, or step outside the box. When you choose to follow your intuition, you create a life that's uniquely yours, one that's aligned with your values, desires, and purpose. Trusting your intuition means giving yourself permission to be guided by something greater than your fears or the expectations of others. It means honoring the wisdom inside of you, knowing that it will never lead you astray. The more you listen, the stronger your connection to your true self becomes. You start to feel more confident in your decisions, more certain of your path, and more aligned with your soul's purpose. Don't ignore your intuition any longer. It is your greatest ally in the journey of self-discovery, growth, and fulfillment. The time to listen is now. You've probably heard the saying, "It's not my fault," or "if only they had done things differently." It's an easy trap to fall into, believing that your circumstances are someone else's doing. But what if the key to changing your life, breaking free from toxic patterns, and truly succeeding lies in owning your actions, your choices, and ultimately your responsibility? When you fail to take responsibility, you stay stuck in a loop, unable to break free from the very things you want to change. The truth is, life is a series of choices, and how you respond to those choices defines the path you walk. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to take full responsibility for where you are in life. It's easy to blame others for your struggles, whether it's your family, your partner, your boss, or society. But when you fail to take responsibility for your own life, you give away your power. The moment you acknowledge that you are the one who shapes your destiny, you step into your power. No one else can dictate your worth, your potential, or your future. Only you can. This realization is liberating and empowering. It's the first step toward transforming your life and creating the reality you deserve. Imagine waking up every day knowing that you control your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. You can no longer say that you are a victim of circumstances. Instead, you're a creator of your own life. Every decision you make, from how you treat yourself to how you respond to challenges, is a reflection of your responsibility. When you fail to take responsibility, you remain in a passive state, waiting for change to come from someone or something else. But the truth is, change only happens when you make the decision to take ownership of your life. Until you do, nothing will shift, and you will continue to live in a cycle of frustration and disappointment. Taking responsibility also means owning your mistakes. We've all made them, we've all failed at something, but failure is not the end, it's the beginning of growth. When you own your mistakes, you learn from them. When you refuse to take responsibility, you stay stuck in denial, and you miss out on the lessons that failure can teach you. Embracing your mistakes allows you to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The ability to say, "I messed up," is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It shows that you're willing to learn, to evolve, and to become the best version of yourself. One of the biggest obstacles to taking responsibility is fear. You might be afraid of being judged, of facing consequences, or of realizing that you played a part in your own struggles. The truth is, facing the reality of your situation might be uncomfortable, but it is the only way to move forward. When you take responsibility for your life, you take control of the narrative. You stop being a victim and start being a victor. And in doing so, you open yourself up to new opportunities, new growth, and new possibilities. Failure to take responsibility also keeps you stuck in a cycle of blame and resentment. When you're constantly blaming others for your problems, you're giving away your power. You're saying that your happiness, your success, and your peace depend on other people. But the reality is, no one else can make you happy, successful, or at peace. Only you can. When you take responsibility, you empower yourself to create the life you want. You stop waiting for others to change and start changing yourself. And in that process, you become the person who can create the life you desire. Taking responsibility is also about being honest with yourself. How many times have you ignored your inner voice, telling yourself things like, "Fine," or "I'll deal with it later"? When you fail to take responsibility, you ignore your truth, and that only leads to more pain and frustration. The moment you start being honest with yourself about your actions, your choices, and your desires, you open the door to transformation. Honesty is the foundation of self-love and self-respect. It's about acknowledging your own worth and not settling for anything less than what you deserve. At the heart of taking responsibility is self-awareness. The more aware you become of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, the more you realize how much control you truly have. Self-awareness allows you to take a step back, reflect on your choices, and make adjustments where necessary. It's about recognizing patterns in your behavior and making conscious decisions to change them. When you're not taking responsibility, you're often acting on autopilot, not even aware of the impact your choices are having on your life. But when you embrace responsibility, you start to live with intention. You start to make choices that align with your goals, your values, and your true desires. The beauty of taking responsibility is that it's never too late to start. No matter where you are in life, you have the power to change your trajectory. The moment you stop blaming others and start looking inward, you begin to unlock the power that has always been within you. You can choose to stop repeating the same mistakes, stop staying in toxic situations, and stop letting fear control your decisions. When you take responsibility, you open up a world of possibility. A world where you are the author of your own story. Taking responsibility is not about perfection. It's not about always making the right choice or never slipping up. It's about being willing to own your actions and learn from them. It's about making the decision to stop playing the victim and start being the hero of your own life. When you take responsibility, you free yourself from the chains of blame and resentment. You step into your own power and become the creator of your own destiny. And in doing so, you pave the way for a life filled with growth, happiness, and fulfillment. How many times have you neglected your own needs, choosing everything and everyone else over yourself? It's an all too common pattern, one that we often justify with the excuse of being too busy, too tired, or simply putting others first. But here's the harsh truth. When you fail to prioritize your own well-being, you're not just hurting yourself, you're slowly draining your energy, your happiness, and your potential for success. Lack of self-care doesn't just affect your physical health. It ripples through your mental, emotional, and spiritual life too. And before you know it, you're running on empty, barely able to keep up with the demands of your life. Have you ever reached a point where you've given so much of yourself that you feel empty inside? When you stop taking care of yourself, you're sending a message to the universe that you're not worth the time, the energy, or the effort. But that's not true. You are worth it. You deserve to feel good in your body, to have mental clarity, to have peace of mind, and to feel emotionally balanced. Self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. When you neglect it, you set yourself up for burnout, anxiety, and stress. You stop being the best version of yourself, and as a result, you're less able to show up for the people you love or to tackle the things that matter most to you. Think about it. When was the last time you did something just for you? When was the last time you took a moment to breathe, to reflect, or to treat yourself with the kindness and respect that you deserve? It's so easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of daily life, juggling work, relationships, responsibilities, and everything else that demands your attention. But without taking the time to recharge, you're like a battery that's been drained to its last drop, unable to function at full capacity. If you're not making time for self-care, you're allowing yourself to be depleted in every way possible. Self-care is not just about pampering yourself with a bubble bath or indulging in a spa day, though those can be nice too. It's about nourishing your mind, body, and spirit on a deeper level. It's about setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and choosing to prioritize your own well-being above everything else. It's about recognizing when you're overwhelmed and taking a step back to recharge. When you fail to do this, you open yourself up to stress, resentment, and physical exhaustion. You're not giving yourself the love and attention that you need to be at your best. The truth is, when you don't take care of yourself, you rob the world of the best version of you. You become irritable, anxious, and disconnected. You stop giving your best at work, at home, and in your relationships. You become someone who is constantly running on fumes, never fully present or engaged in the moments that matter most. You can't pour from an empty cup. And when you're not caring for yourself, you're pouring from an empty cup all the time. This lack of self-care can lead to feelings of frustration, depression, and a sense of disconnection from your own life. Taking care of yourself doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. It's about making small, intentional choices every day that honor your well-being. This can be as simple as taking a walk to clear your mind, setting aside time to read, meditating for 5 minutes, or even just getting a good night's sleep. Self-care is about checking in with yourself regularly and asking, What do I need right now? It's about learning to listen to your body and respecting its signals. If you're tired, rest. If you're overwhelmed, take a break. If you're emotionally drained, find ways to replenish yourself. The act of self-care is about recharging your emotional, mental, and physical batteries so that you can show up in the world as the fullest, most vibrant version of yourself. One of the most powerful aspects of self-care is the message it sends to yourself. When you make time for self-care, you're telling yourself that you matter. You're telling yourself that your needs, your happiness, and your well-being are important. In a world that constantly demands more from you, taking time for yourself is a radical act of self-love. You're not selfish for putting yourself first. You're wise. You're recognizing that the better you take care of yourself, the better you can take care of others. You can't give your best when you're running on empty, but when you're nourished and rejuvenated, you show up as a stronger, more present, and more compassionate version of yourself. It's also important to understand that self-care is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing practice, a series of choices and habits that you build over time. Just as you wouldn't skip a meal and expect to feel good, you can't skip self-care and expect to be mentally, emotionally, or physically healthy. It's a daily commitment to yourself. You don't have to be perfect or get it right all the time, but the key is consistency. By making small, intentional choices each day, you begin to create a foundation of self-love and self-respect that carries you through even the toughest times. If you find yourself constantly putting others ahead of your own needs, ask yourself, when was the last time I did something just for me? It's easy to feel guilty about prioritizing yourself, especially if you're used to putting others first. But remember, you can't give your best if you're not at your best. Taking time for yourself is not an indulgence. It's an investment in your well-being. It's a crucial part of living a balanced, fulfilling life. Self-care doesn't have to be extravagant or time-consuming. It's the little things that add up over time. The moments when you pause to breathe, the boundaries you set, and the care you give yourself when life gets overwhelming. Don't wait until you're on the brink of burnout to take action. Start today. Take responsibility for your well-being and make the decision to care for yourself just as you would care for someone you love deeply. Because when you care for yourself, you become the best version of you, and the world gets to experience all that you have to offer. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that you knew deep down wasn't right for you, yet for some reason you stayed? The promise of love, affection, or even validation can make it difficult to walk away, even when you sense the relationship is doing more harm than good. Many women fall into the trap of choosing toxic relationships, often because they feel unworthy of something better, or they're clinging to the idea of potential rather than reality. It's heartbreaking to invest your time, energy, and emotions into someone who continually drags you down. But it's also a pattern that can easily be broken. Imagine giving your heart to someone who makes you feel less than, who gaslights you, belittles you, or takes you for granted. Over time, this begins to take a toll on your sense of self-worth, leaving you questioning your value and the love you have to offer. The person you're with should make you feel loved, cherished, and empowered, not diminished. If you find yourself constantly giving more than you're receiving, it might be time to examine why you're in this relationship and whether it's truly serving you. The truth is, toxic relationships don't just affect your mental and emotional well-being, they begin to affect your physical health too, as stress and anxiety take their toll. You deserve better than to be in a relationship that leaves you feeling drained, uncertain, or unloved. The danger of toxic relationships lies in the subtle way they erode your sense of self. At first, you might not even realize what's happening. The criticism may feel like constructive feedback. The neglect may feel like a form of love, or the constant drama may feel like excitement. But over time, the toxic behavior starts to wear you down, slowly poisoning the love you thought you had. When you keep choosing a partner who doesn't value you or treats you poorly, you're essentially telling yourself that you don't deserve respect or kindness. The more you accept, the more it becomes your reality, and the harder it is to break free. One of the hardest parts of leaving a toxic relationship is the fear of being alone. Many women stay in unhealthy situations because they fear they will never find someone else who loves them, or that being alone means something is wrong with them. But the truth is, staying in a toxic relationship is much more isolating than being single. Alone doesn't mean unloved or unworthy. It means you have the space to rediscover who you are, heal, and rebuild a life that aligns with your true needs and desires. The key to unlocking the future you want lies in letting go of the past that no longer serves you. By releasing toxic relationships, you create room for real, authentic connections that allow you to grow and flourish. It's easy to convince yourself that love is worth fighting for, that if you just try harder or give more, things will change. But the truth is, toxic relationships are not something you can fix on your own. No amount of effort, love, or compromise will change someone who isn't willing to change themselves. In fact, it's often the opposite. You find yourself becoming someone you're not, losing pieces of yourself in the process. Your time, energy, and love should never be wasted on someone who doesn't appreciate or honor you. Instead of fighting to fix a relationship that's broken beyond repair, it's time to fight for your own peace, happiness, and sense of self-worth. It's easy to get caught up in the cycle of toxic relationships because they can feel familiar. Sometimes we unconsciously seek out what we know, even if it's unhealthy. Maybe you grew up in an environment where toxic behavior was normalized and you didn't learn what a healthy relationship truly looks like. Maybe you've been hurt before and you convince yourself that this is the best you can do, even if deep down you know it's not. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward breaking it. When you begin to value yourself and what you bring to the table, you'll find that your standards rise and your relationships begin to reflect that. You no longer have to settle for anything less than love that lifts you up, respects you, and values who you are. When you choose to remove yourself from toxic relationships, you not only gain peace and clarity, but you also give yourself the gift of self-love. You begin to understand that your happiness is not dependent on someone else's approval or love. The love you give yourself is the foundation for attracting healthy, fulfilling relationships that encourage growth and mutual respect. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires making hard choices, setting boundaries, and learning to say no to relationships that don't align with your values or your desires. The key to breaking free from toxic relationships lies in recognizing your own worth. When you realize that you deserve to be treated with kindness, respect, and love, you begin to see toxic behavior for what it truly is: disrespect and manipulation. This awareness is empowering because it allows you to reclaim control over your life and your relationships. The moment you decide that you will no longer tolerate toxicity is the moment your life begins to change for the better. It's not easy, and it won't happen without effort. But choosing yourself over a toxic relationship is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. You deserve relationships that build you up, not tear you down. You deserve to feel safe, loved, and valued. When you let go of toxic relationships, you open the door to the love and respect you've been longing for. Trust yourself to make decisions that honor your worth, and watch as your life transforms into something beautiful, healthy, and full of love. Letting go is hard, but it's the first step toward a life filled with joy, peace, and authentic love. There's a part of you that knows you need to change. Perhaps it's your career, your relationships, or your personal habits. Deep down, you sense that the life you're living now is not the one that will bring you the happiness or fulfillment you crave. But still, you resist. Why? The fear of stepping into the unknown is a powerful force. Change is unsettling, and it demands that you step outside your comfort zone. Even when you know that staying the same is no longer an option, change still feels terrifying. This fear of the unknown can hold you back from the life you truly deserve. Think about a time in your life when you were faced with an opportunity for growth or change. Maybe it was a new job, move to a new city, or ending a relationship that no longer served you. You knew deep in your soul that the change would be for the better, but you hesitated, you resisted. And in that hesitation, you stayed stuck, caught between the desire for something better and the fear of what that change might bring. It's so easy to get comfortable in the familiar, even when that familiarity no longer brings you joy. The mind plays tricks on you, convincing you that it's safer to stay where you are, even if where you are isn't where you want to be. Resistance to change often stems from the comfort of familiarity. Even when things aren't perfect, you know what to expect. The thought of venturing into unfamiliar territory feels like stepping off a cliff without knowing what's below. You're afraid of failing, of making a mistake, of being rejected or judged. But here's the thing. Staying stuck in a life that no longer serves you is the biggest mistake you can make. The fear of change can hold you hostage, keeping you in a life of mediocrity, never allowing you to reach your full potential. Change is one of the most natural parts of life, yet many of us resist it because of the discomfort it brings. Humans are wired to seek stability and certainty, and change threatens both. It's tempting to hold on to the past because it feels safe, but what you're really doing is avoiding the possibility of growth, progress, and evolution. Change is not the enemy, it's the pathway to becoming the person you were always meant to be. If you continue to resist change, you'll find yourself trapped in the same patterns, the same situations, and the same feelings, year after year. You'll watch others around you grow, move forward, and live the lives they desire, while you stay stuck in the fear of what could be. There's a misconception that change has to be massive or life-altering for it to be meaningful. But in reality, even small changes can have a profound impact on your life. It could be as simple as changing your mindset, letting go of old habits, or starting a new hobby. These small shifts open the door to bigger transformations down the line. The fear of change often comes from the idea that you have to transform everything at once. But the truth is, you don't need to change it all at once. You just need to take the first step, however small it may be. Once you begin, momentum builds and the path becomes clearer. One of the biggest obstacles to change is the belief that it's too late. Too many people hold on to the idea that they've missed their chance or that their window for change has passed. But that's simply not true. It's never too late to start fresh. You have the power to reinvent yourself, to make new choices, and to create a life that aligns with your true desires. Resisting change because you think it's too late only keeps you in the past. The reality is that every day is a new opportunity to transform your life. The clock is never too far gone, and the opportunity for change is always within reach. Another barrier to change is the fear of failure. We're often told that success requires perfection, that you must get it right the first time. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. The most successful people are those who have embraced failure as a teacher, who have allowed themselves to stumble, fall, and rise again. The fear of failure holds you back from even trying. It tells you that it's safer to stay where you are, even if you're unhappy. than to risk failure by trying something new. But in avoiding failure, you also avoid the growth that comes from trying, learning, and improving. Without failure, there is no progress. Embrace the idea that change may not always go perfectly, and that's okay. It's all part of the journey. Resisting change also often comes from a place of self-doubt. You may feel that you're not capable of handling the change or that you don't have what it takes to succeed. This negative self-talk can be paralyzing, making it even harder to take action. But the truth is, you are more capable than you realize. You've already overcome challenges in your life, and each time you did, you became stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The fear of change is just a reflection of your own doubts about your ability to navigate new experiences. Trust in your strength and resilience. You have faced challenges before, and you will continue to rise above them. It's important to realize that the pain of staying the same is often greater than the pain of change. Change is uncomfortable, but it's also a necessary part of growth. Without change, you stay stagnant, unable to move forward or discover new opportunities. You may think that resisting change is protecting you from discomfort, but in reality, it's keeping you stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction and unfulfilled potential. The moment you let go of the fear and begin to embrace change, you'll find that the discomfort is temporary and the rewards are lasting. In this chapter, I give you 11-point plan. Every day you are presented with opportunities for change. The question is, will you continue to resist, or will you step into the unknown and take a leap toward the life you've always wanted? Change doesn't have to be scary. It just requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing it as something to fear, see it as an invitation to grow, evolve, and become the best version of yourself. Let go of resistance and allow change to be your ally in the journey toward a brighter, more fulfilling future.